Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
Do all paths lead to the same destination? Well, what about the Christian who tries to live like the world, the Christian who tries to flirt with the world? Listen to Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. Paul would say, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service, rational service. It is the rational thing to do to separate yourself from the ungodliness of this world, not to become a monk and live in a monastery or something like that, but rather to say, I'm going to live different. I'm going to live above the muck and the mire of this world. Now consider this, verse number 2. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. This is rather interesting because when we think about a sacrifice, we might think of something that dies. Well, we die not physically necessarily, but we die to our pride. We die to our greed. We die to our selfishness. We die to those passions that say, I want to be just like the world around me. I want to do what they do and go where they go. But here's the trick. Here's the reality. That path does not lead to the same destination as the path of self-sacrifice. Furthermore, he says, you don't want to be like the world, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed. That word transformed comes from a word from which we get our word metamorphosis. Now, I'm not a science geek, but I know a little bit. You know, one day that little caterpillar's crawling along the ground, and he climbs up in a tree, and he attaches himself to a limb, and he spins a little chrysalis. And inside that chrysalis, there's a transformation. Now, I didn't know this until just a short time ago, maybe a year or two ago. I was studying on this, and I thought maybe the butterfly, that caterpillar would just kind of grow wings and there'd be this slight transformation. No, it's a complete transformation. As a matter of fact, don't do this, but if you were to open up that chrysalis in the middle of the transformation, you wouldn't find half caterpillar, half butterfly. You'd find caterpillar soup. I mean, it is a complete transformation and a completely new life. That's what it's supposed to be for a Christian. And the Christian who's living a life on a path of worldliness and selfishness is not going to come to the same destination as the Christian who says, I'm going to make my life a living sacrifice. All paths do not lead to the same destination.